again, where we discuss topics beyond being award-winning educators from the perspectives of friends, mothers and wives, citizens, and health-conscious women.
That's right, Sharifa. Our impact goes far beyond the walls of the school. Follow us through our life's experiences as we create our own narratives.
We cannot wait to get started. So let's go. And we're back. Yep, we're
Great.
here. And we are on... Kisha, when are you officially on summer break?
When am I officially on it?
Mm-hmm. Or would you consider this your official summer break?
Well, I will say that it's definitely a break not having the kids or the teachers in the building.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little bit of a relief. So I am definitely still going to work every day from 8 to 5.
No.
But we are off on Fridays. That was a relief last week. I really needed that off day. Officially, we're done June 15th, but I have a new principal this year, and I am definitely offering my assistance, my services at whatever time she needs it. So I'm not officially getting those weeks in a row that I normally get.
Oh, yeah. So we've been off since the 20. Well, shoot. Talk about me. I got hit with pneumonia. So I've been off. I didn't even have to go to work the last week of school for finals. God told me, no, you sit down and take this antibiotics. But we were off, like our kids were going on the 22nd, and then we were officially done with school on the 27th of May. So I've been reporting to school for volleyball last week.
Oh, okay.
Last week we did that, but no, I'm in full flown Netflix binge watching mode.
I've been catching a few flicks here lately. I haven't been able to do like hours and hours and hours, but definitely trying to get in the Netflix flow because, we just don't judge. We just got Netflix not too long ago.
Oh my God. Okay, so you got official Netflix or an account or somebody else's? Tell truth.
Like real life account.
Okay.
You're living legit.
That's what I'm talking about. No, we officially got Netflix like last year, but we had been like hit or miss. My mom's account, just different, just to watch certain things. But yeah, we were like, it's worth it. Let's get Netflix for real, and it is. Girl, I've been watching Jane the Virgin.
Okay, I saw that, but I haven't been watching it.
There are so many seasons. There's so many of them.
You know what I thought about binge watching if I ever had time, but I just don't know that I have the patience to binge watch anything. I'm more of a movie girl. Like, let's just get this movie and I know I'm done.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, not that I have to keep coming back to find out what happens next.
And I'm so opposite. I'm a Netflix. I'm like a episode. I need a lot of seasons because I feel like I could just go, come back. It's not a long period of time, so I can stop it.
No.
Speaking of, oh my God, I'll tell you later. I'll tell you. Okay, after we're done with Netflix, I gotta tell you what I saw at the movies.
Oh gosh, you went to the movies?
Exactly.
I can't wait to tell you what I recently saw at the movies. Story Topper. So we have Seth and, what do we call him? Debt Doctor. And I have this saying, it's been so long. We have this saying called Story Topper because it's like...
beat that.
Yes!
Yeah.
And it happens with my mother-in-law. Like, we can't just have a regular conversation. It's like I'll be telling about somebody at work, and then she'll have to come back and tell about a worse story or a better story about someone at work. And then my husband will always go, story topper. So today she had like bad day topper. I was like, no, I had the bad day.
So she was me too.
It's
me too.
Crying.
It's me too.
Huh?
It's me too.
Yes, it is.
Oh no.
It's me too for sure. And it's not like you know how we're like, oh, me too, me too. No, it's me too, but mine is better or worse. So it adds a new level to it. Oh. But anywho, the show, what were you talking about?
Netflix.
Yes. So the closest I came to binge watching a show was Power.
Oh, because you hadn't been watching it.
Right. And that was 2 years ago at my cousin's house in Washington, D.C. She had Stars. Isn't that Stars? Mm-hmm. Is that Stars? Okay. She had Stars, and we were supposed to go out to a party for New Year's Eve, and we were all so very tired, so we couldn't do it. We weren't able. So we just went to the store, the beverage store, and got us
the package store,
something to have. Yes, to have cheer. You know, we wanted to say cheers, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
So we got that, and my New Year's Eve was spent binge watching Power. Oh. I was up till 3 a.m. doing that.
Did you finish it?
I got to like season 4 or something. I still had like one more or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, that took a lot of focus and commitment.
Now, I binged Game of Thrones before I re-binged, because I had been watching Game of Thrones the whole time, and this would have been my second time watching it again. So I was like, okay.
Girl, did you just say you're binge watching something for the second time?
Yeah, okay, so with Game of Thrones, let me tell you how it started. So I started watching it, and then I started reading the books. So then I was like, nope, let me read these books. Let me start over again, because now I've read the books, so now I can watch it with fidelity. So I did that, but then more seasons came or whatever, and they didn't make the new book yet. He still hadn't made it. Whatever. So then, before the last season came, which the last season just now ended, I went back and watched it from season 1, which was like 2010. So like, you literally I forgot about a lot of the details. And so I did that. It was so stressful. It was so, I would be like, I don't have enough minutes in the day, because we were ending school. I don't know what the heck was going on. Maybe that's why we had no episode.
You were binge watching Game of Thrones. We didn't have time to do any podcast.
I couldn't do any. My life paused. My whole life paused, except for the move that was going on. I think that was my getaway. Like, I didn't want to think about nothing else that was going on for real. Let me just get this Game of Thrones done.
What? That is such a big commitment. I am not able. I can't do it.
Okay, so we went to the movies, and if y'all have listened for a while, you know I'm not a fan of the movie theater. I feel trapped. It's a thing I have to work through. I have to work through it. But I for sure wanted to see Aladdin. Like, that's my favorite Disney movie of all time. It's my favorite one. Like, I know the words, I know the songs. When my kids watch it, I'm like singing along. So we went and saw it. It was fun. It was so good. It was amazing.
It was.
I loved it. But guess what happened to me? I had to get myself up and walk out of the theater. It was going too long. Like, I was literally like, I got to take a walk. Like, when is it done? I want it to end. That's great. but I had to take a walk. I had to go to the bathroom and then come back in. I think my ADD is getting worse. I've
Oh, wow.
I've never had to do that before, but I started to feel like my lungs were cramping.
What?
I was feeling all kinds of cramps. Girl, I feel like I had to stretch. It
What
was.
in the world?
I was like, oh
I
my
have never heard
God.
of anything like that in my life.
I couldn't do it. This is the first like physical manifestation of my allergy to the movie theater. Like I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I kept
Some
checking
people
my
struggle.
time. I kept checking the time, and I was like, you know what? I just need to go. I need to get up and walk out, and when I come back, it'll be better. And it did. It was better when I got back. I was like, okay, I can make it to the end. But I was starting to be like, is this a 3-hour movie? What the heck is going on? Why is it going so long?
I did not want the movie to end. See, just opposite. We are so opposite. I never knew how opposite we were.
Now, I knew that, like, I think because I knew the storyline too, I was like, hurry up and get to the part where he becomes a sorcerer. Like, I knew that would be like the marking for the end, and it wasn't coming fast enough. So I was like, oh, Lord, let me go.
It did start kind of feeling like it kind of drug right there. Like it was like, okay, I know it's coming. I know it's coming.
Right.
But I didn't want it to end. I really didn't. I will tell you that it took me about 20 minutes. And I love Will Smith. But it took me about 20 minutes to get over Robin Williams.
It was different. It was different. And it was, yeah, because you know the nuances of Robin Williams and like how quick-witted he was, but Will Smith did a very good job of putting his own on it. Like he was not doing a whole bunch of the same, which
He did.
I appreciated that part because I was like, if it was trying to be too much like him, I would be mad. I would be like, that ain't him.
Of course.
But
I agree.
Will Smith does a lot of hey girl stuff throughout, and I'm always like, okay, Will. And you know how we already talked about that with Will Smith. But he does a lot of neck roll. He does a lot of like, just hey girl. I guess I call it hey girl.
What the? So after I got past my little 20 minutes, like my brain kept looking for Robin, and I was like, no, he's not coming. He's not coming. It's somebody else. Get your head together, Disney family, because you know we're such a Disney family.
Oh, y'all are.
I had to really talk myself out of the original, which brings me to my next Disney point. I'm so sorry, but I am still not excited about the remake of Lion King.
You're not?
Not at all.
I'm kind of excited about it. I am. I mean, because they're doing a whole live everything now. So, Maleficent, I was excited about Maleficent too. I'm a villain person. I like the villain.
Yes.
But I'm not. I'm excited about Lion King because I'm just kind of like, oh, how is it? Are they gonna do it? Is it gonna be as good? Is it gonna look like what's that Beverly Hills Chihuahua where they move in the mouth, or is it gonna be like, or is it gonna be like, oh my gosh, like this lion is really talking? Disney can't possibly do it in a cheap way. You know what I mean?
I guess. And my husband was like, I don't understand why you're so worried. Like, I am very worried. Like, I am. It's really a true concern.
It's not going to be a robot. Like, you think it's going to look fake? I don't know.
I feel like, so he was like, look, the tiger in Aladdin is amazing. Mm-hmm. I said, yes, but the tiger is not talking.
True.
They're going to have these animals talking. And then my little girls were like, but mommy, you love the Jungle Book. I said, yes, that was also fine. but the previews aren't giving me the warm and fuzzies.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I think
Like, I'm trying to let Beyonce be that for me, but it's not. Beyonce can't even get me excited. Like, I keep trying. They really tried to hit all the marks for me,
right.
but it's me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm really nervous.
Well, I guess we'll see. I'm just excited about.
When does that come out?
Hold on.
When?
So
What's the
speaking,
last thing?
you said Beyonce, and I know that lots of Beyonce things have been happening since we were able to talk about it. I know the most recent thing was the Warriors owner's wife leaning over Beyonce at the finals game. And the Beehive tearing her to shreds about it.
Aggressive.
But did you see the end where Beyonce kind of was like straightened up and kind of nudged her to the side, like get up off, like.
But like, I get it. Like, I completely relate to everything Beyonce was feeling. Like, number one, stop talking over me. Yes. Like, that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough. Talk to me. Why can't you engage with me? I'm right here next to you. Stop talking over me to talk to my husband. Mm-hmm. Like,
but she did explain. She did explain that she was like trying to explain something about a flower that a fan sent to Beyonce. And so I don't know. Hold on. So yeah, she was like just basically on the Shade Room comment saying, like, defending herself. But she did say, like, the person that you're defending doesn't even feel this way, and I don't know if she would be excited about y'all telling me to kill myself.
Oh gosh. But I do think that the Beehive, they went to the extreme for sure.
The young Beehive. We gotta say it's the new ones because they're the ones that go off. Us older ones don't. We're not.
They stay ready. Yeah, the young ones are a mess. We need to really mentor them.
Right. Let me teach you how to be a fan.
Right. Like, as I was saying, like, I don't think the lady meant any harm, but I mean, I think Beyonce was just like, enough. Watch the game. Like, I don't know that she was like feeling threatened. Right. But like, let's just be honest. If you don't, it looks great. The On the Run 2 was amazing. We were excited about the reconciliation, but I'm so sorry. The reality is when you've gone through that in a marriage, that little things trigger you. So she might have been triggered and didn't even realize.
Right. Like, or she may have been trying to watch the game and it's like, y'all want to switch seats because you're talking over me. Like, it's a distraction.
Light.
Yeah.
Look, you can get in my light and stuff. I can't even see the game.
Could you imagine a world where every facial expression you made is like broken down to a gif? A gif?
No.
Could you? I mean, really she can't even have an RBF without somebody being like, "Oh, she's like, get up off me, ho!" Like they just putting all kind of words behind it. It could be she was just chilling. Like, can I just relax? Like, can I just have?
What if she was cramping, or she could have even had gas at that moment? Like, I just pooed it. I hope she don't smell that because she all in my space. Like, didn't nobody come up with that one?
Right. Exactly. This trench coat is not covering up my snacks. Like, I have treats in my pockets and they're going to be exposed. I wish she would get up off me because my Mike and Ike's about to fall out. Like, you don't know what she had going on. You don't know.
I love it. What are all the other things that could have been going through Beyonce's head
What them
other
twins
than
doing? I hope Tina got them in line because Sir and Rumi are
because
over
Blue
here.
is over there trying to run it because she thinks she the mama.
Right.
I guess I need to text and check on them. Like, she could have been thinking that.
Who knows? And who cares? Like, I'm like, girl, I'm glad you made it to the game. Great. You courtside. That's enough for me. I didn't care to
That's
see who was peeking over at Jay-Z. But we didn't talk about Homecoming either. Did you watch it? Oh,
I
good.
did.
Okay,
Aren't you glad?
good. Yay. I expected
I
by
watched it
now.
in Florida. I had to go
Yay.
out to watch TV. See, binge watch Power in DC, watch Homecoming in Florida. Can't do
Uh-huh.
it at home.
Right. And I mean, I just loved it. And I thought, like, so much respect for her hard work. And I just love the fact that she was just showing how hard she works. Because, like, you can literally see her pop up at the Super Bowl after she had a baby and be like, wow, she did it. But, like, to see the documentation of her being 218 pounds, which, whatever. And then you go down to whatever, 100 pounds, however much she lost eating an apple. But, like,
Right.
I respected that hard work because I'm like, you show that you worked like 18 hours a day. It ain't just easy for everybody. It's not easy for Beyonce. Like, it's not easy for people, period. And I felt like she just could relate more to real women, especially when she was just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm not doing this no more. She's like, I'm not in that place. I will never do this again because I am a mother and I care about being with my kids. It wasn't about like trying to be the baddest or try to, impress anything at that point. It was like, okay, I see this is the last time I'm doing this. I ain't doing it no more. And I was like,
Right.
that's right. Shout out to all the moms. I mean,
Working hard out here.
so I did like that part. I think that's why a lot of people became fans of her just after Homecoming, because I know a lot of people who were like, they hated Beyonce because it was just kind of like everything was so fake and everything was so contrived and everything was so, perfect. And
Right.
so people who have been like true, like Beyonce haters were like, okay, well, I can respect this artist who has put in all this work and could be honest with the audience about what it takes to go into it. Because you don't see that. You don't see that from anybody. Janet never showed nothing like that. Madonna, none of
Right.
them have shown how hard it actually takes. For 100-something days, she was working like, Yeah, it's a lot. It was a whole
I'm just
lot.
like, that was a lot of dedication, boy. Whew.
I know. And it was a
She,
great show.
yeah. She just, okay, so talking about that was the deep side of it.
Mm-hmm.
So the superficial or something, the nostalgic part of her show was I had really forgotten how Battle of the Bands used to be the big thing for us in high school at what used to be the Georgia Dome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was the big thing. I mean, to the point where I literally got into an argument with my band director defending Southwest DeKalb and black marching bands.
Uh-huh.
Like, I got into, so I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. Like, this has been going on since I was a doggone 12-year-old. And it's so funny how, just the rushing back of memories came when I saw that. I said, that was a big deal. And it really was a moment of pride.
Mm-hmm.
They would have the high schools from the Atlanta area, and then they would have the HBCUs also perform during those events. And I just remember feeling so proud and feeling a part of it. So it was really nostalgic that she brought that that back to everybody's minds, because I think I don't know, and it may be our ages, I just don't hear a lot about it. But I'm thinking that, this September, the Mercedes-Benz is going to be lit in the
Yeah.
Battle of the Bands.
And I do, and you know what? It's funny you say that because I remember you saying even almost like a sly comment, like somebody was going to H Bob, we call it H Bob, but behind the Battle of the Bands, and you were like, who even goes to that? If you didn't go to HBCU, like, what are you even doing going to that? And I was just like,
No, it was old women. I was
well,
confused.
but still, the
Like
idea
old women who didn't even go to college, like they just were going.
for
And I
the
was like,
culture.
I remember when we were in high school, it was watching the bands and seeing boys, but my brain couldn't understand why some 50-something-year-olds were going, just the two of them, to go
See
watch
the
it. And I was like,
boys,
well, they
see
might
the
be
grown boys.
they might be going to look for some men.
Right. But, and it's funny you say that because I remember they had Battle of the Bands, the actual Southern schools, the HBCUs would come to the Oakland Coliseum. And that was our only peak at black colleges because there was none on the West Coast. So it would be full. And I just remember being like, oh my gosh, like these people all have, because my sister Zakia was at Howard. And I had a cousin at Southern. So we had known about the HBCUs, but like to see all the alumni showing up for it and just knowing like, look at all these black people filling up an arena and look at, this is why they came. So that was just a peek into it.
Yeah.
And I think that it definitely was a segue, besides like a different world, but it was a segue into like, I want to be able to experience something like that. And
I think,
I
know Layla and Amar, what are their names? God, we haven't done this in so long.
Missy and the professor.
Yes. I have amnesia, girl.
Oh, no.
Missy and the professor, I know they get to go to Bethune-Cookman's homecoming every year.
Right. And we try to get them at least to a Battle of the Bands too. Every other year, not every single year, because it's like, okay. But at least if they go to homecoming, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just saying that has to be on my list this year for A and B selection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They got new names.
And it's game A and B selection. And there's games that come to Atlanta. So like there even is, you know, I think I know BCU is playing Alabama State, somebody, Mississippi State. No, that's not an HBCU. Anyways, playing somebody at the Georgia State, you know, the old Turner Field. Georgia State owns that now. Mm-hmm. So they're playing them there.
Right.
And there's the Tennessee State and FAMU game that happens here. So there's tons of, even if you don't get to go to an actual homecoming time, you still can get the culture from that.
Yeah, I mean, but we could go to Clark's homecoming. We could go to
more,
you know, the
Morehouse
homecoming. Like we are very fortunate to have opportunities to expose our kids to things like that.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna actually be an influx of support for, and it was right on time because so many HBCUs are going through a lot of financial issues and just decisions about if students are going there and their numbers are going down. So I really think that it was perfect timing. I just hope, and somebody was just wishful thinking that Beyonce's going to do a homecoming tour, like, and visit all the campuses throughout the fall.
Whoa.
I said, I don't know about all that. She said she ain't doing this no more. But it would be really cool if something like that happened and created a whole bunch of like financial support from the outside community, not the inside, because people trying. But
that would be cool.
Yeah, so that was a definite moment that I think that we still needed to talk about. So we didn't end our year very well, our school year, because, you know, our year, Sweet Tea and Sunshine's year ends in January. So, hey, this is just the midpoint, really. But
yeah,
we didn't end our school year with many episodes. Do we want to talk about that? Or so, because we didn't really end our school year, I just wanted to kind of talk about what was going on with us for people who care and or want to know, or just if you're nosy, like we'll share really kind of what we went through as a podcast and a friend group, I guess.
Right. So we're gonna have a couple of segues on this because a couple of pivots.
Mm-hmm.
In our previous episode, we talked about being in the flow.
Yes, that was an early episode, one of our earlier ones.
Yes,
we'll post the link to it and talk about that. I mean, put that in there.
Exactly what I was gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, being in the flow. But what we did not address was what happened to us later, closer to the end of the school year, which was being out of the flow. We both definitely experienced a season of just being in the fog, and not the good fog. Sometimes fog can stand for favor of God. We're not talking about that. And maybe we were still in the favor of God in the middle of it and we couldn't see it. But there were definitely a lot of distractions and things to take our attention from our other purpose, which is, doing our podcast or, and reaching educators and mothers and various people in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny because what we did, even in that being out of flow can be a lot of different things. It could be being out of flow in your relationships. And when I say relationships, I mean marriage. Mm-hmm. It could be out of flow with friendships. It could be out of flow with your business, in your classroom, just various places, various aspects of your life. And I think we were both kind of out of flow with everything, but maybe our marriage.
I know. Look at that. Look at God. Hey. Because the marriage has been great. Look at that. And maybe it was a season where it was like, listen, reel it in. Get this all the way. Because we always are like, the marriage is the thing that's like, wah, wah. But it really was a great time for at least the Neds. Like there was just a lot of growth and just so much going on. But what I really think happened, the first thing that happened for us to get me out of my flow was there were topics that we couldn't talk about on the podcast about education because I was going through a lot of that, and I got scared. I got scared because someone called me out about, being too vocal on the internet and like saying too much. And so I was like, well, wow. Like, first of all, hey, because we popping, like y'all really checking for us. But second of all, what do I say? Like, what is wrong to say? And I don't think we hadn't gotten to that point of fame. Of fame yet to be able to be like, oh my gosh, like it's coming back around, and the things that I say, I don't want to offend someone in my workplace or whatever, which right. I don't think that we ever have done, but it was like a pause for me because I was going through a whole bunch of like real negative stuff. And if I got on the podcast, trust me, y'all would have been able to connect the dots and Google and find, because I probably would have been ready to call out names, middle names, what they look like. And if I was Beyonce, I would sick the beehive. So I was like, let's not record about that topic. Okay, no, we can't hit that, because I felt so strongly about it that I felt like it was like too much. And so I think that kind of started the whole thing where it's like, what can we talk about if we can't talk about what's going on with our work on a day-to-day basis? And I can even, I guess, share that there was a conversation with me and my administrator where she said, like, it was just kind of alluding to the fact that people are watching you. And And then I went back to a couple of episodes and everything, and I was like, watching what? Like, there really wasn't anything there for me or for you to be like, uh-oh, gotcha, or anything like that. And so I
Right.
did have to share with her, this is my outlet. And some people drink, some people party, some people write, some people, but the podcast really is my outlet to be able to share with other teachers, like kind of what we're going through, and an administrator who actually can hear from other teachers. So it's just it's therapeutic. And for
Yeah.
someone to step to you and be like, listen, be careful about what you're saying, is kind of like a, so I had to think about that. And then I had to finally be like, whatever, sis, like I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do because I'm not hurting anyone. No names have been mentioned.
Right.
No positions have been compromised. No one knows where I even work. Like, it's not.
I was going to say, not even the county.
No. And I told her specifically, like, this is the name. If you want to listen, go ahead and let me know what you think. Because that's how confident I was with our content, that we weren't slandering, that we weren't like being negative. And it was like, she was coming from a place of, I've heard this and I've heard that. And I'm like, well, if you really want to listen, hear the real thing. Don't hear what other people said I said about any of that.
They can tell you anything.
Right. So I had to come to grips with that. And then it was just a whole bunch of like, for real political educational stuff that was just not right, that I felt like I was taking it on, like I told you earlier, like bringing them bags home and bringing them back to work and bringing them home. Like I wasn't letting it go. So I'm like, this is not going to be healthy for me to be, and then still talk about it on the podcast while I'm talking about it to my husband, while I'm talking about it to my sister. Like, just to continue in that cycle is like, nope. So, and the other thing, I was moving. So we sold a house, bought a new house. And so it was like, there's a lot of stuff going on. I really need to focus on the good things and not like a whole bunch of drama or, extra stuff that's going on. That was it for me, I think. What about you?
It was just a whole lot of distractions. Like I said, my husband and kids have been amazing. One thing's for sure, my marriage and my little family, my sweet little family, was definitely in flow. My kids were doing amazing. My husband, was definitely supporting me in the midst of all of this. And it was just really a season of confusion, and not like, oh, I'm confused, I don't know what's going on. It was just like the static and the constant, just something constantly. I felt like, most of you all know that I'm an assistant principal. I felt like I had to be the stability for my outgoing principal's transition. It was very tough for her as she was transitioning out. So I took on a lot of that responsibility. And again, it was still just like a lot going on inside the school, outside of the fact that even she had to lean so heavily on me. And then, just always the balance of my sister's issues. So, and it was just, let me see. Oh, speaking of fear, I found this interesting when you mentioned that it's been coming to my realization that one of my speaking engagements with my books, where I went visited a school, kind of messed with my confidence and my psyche, like the lady's comment did to you. So in February, I went to speak to a school. It was during, obviously, Black History Month. And I think that the experience was great with the kids. It was great with the teachers, but the media specialist that was over me coming, I reached back out to get feedback, to thank them, and she didn't respond back. And I think that kind of messed up my confidence as far as my flow for my other, personal business would be the light. So that kind of threw me off kilter. And I think it just kind of threw me off overall, not just like with Sweet Tea and Sunshine and with my books. I was just like, oh, wow, I didn't say anything offensive. I didn't, the kids were very responsive, but it made the adults uncomfortable. So because she was uncomfortable with my books, then I kind of feel like I backed away. Like I had to talk to my husband about that too, because he was just like, it's not a big deal. Mm-hmm. But in my heart, I think it really did bother me. Mm-hmm. So that happened. The challenge for me is, out of flow, definitely distracted. It just felt like it was taking so much to get back into the flow. Mm-hmm. So that was my challenge. Like, how do I get back into where I was? And I love what Steve Harvey said. He was just like, if things aren't going right, and he didn't call it flow, but he was like, if things aren't going right, check your prayer life. Yeah. And so I definitely took a step back, and what's funny is I had gotten to a point where I was trying to do, I was reading a book for my devotionals where I was doing the Bible app, mm-hmm. and but the Bible app, you can be very specific about what you are looking for and what you are trying to, it's just whatever topic you are feeling in your heart, mm-hmm. and the book devotional was whatever came up, and a lot of times, it will line up to your spiritual needs on any given day, but I guess it was just missing the mark. So I just got super focused, and I started like 5 devotionals on the Bible app. And of course I can have that with me at all times if I need to read or reread on the go. And, I just had to really take some time of reflection, like, oh my gosh, look at all the things I have accomplished with God. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's as simple as asking him, like, okay, Lord, I'm ready.
Well, what I do know is that I stopped reading because I was doing the red letters, and I stopped reading them, and I actually just, like, something in prayer, I felt a nudge to go back over what I had written. And so I was like, oh, and I wasn't writing. Remember I told you I was like actually drawing and journaling, like with art, which was weird because I'm not that. So I had my little pencils and all that. And it was really nice art, but it was like, now go back to the beginning. That was like the word I got. Go back to where you started and like continue reading those. And it was really like a reminder of all of God's promises through the red letters, like what he actually said, and it challenged me to believe that those were the things that is promised. You know what I mean? Like, it was just one day it was like, how dare you doubt? Like, it was just like little things like that, and I was like, man, okay. So instead of like, to me, it was, instead of continuing to search for more and more things, it was this reminder of like, listen, you already know what it is. Like, I don't even know why you acting like you need more and more and more inspiration for this. You wrote it down. You drew pictures. Like, you shaded and you did value and you did bubble letters and all this stuff. But like, were you really listening, or were you just doing that stuff? So I had to go back over, and I was sending Val pictures like, oh my gosh, like, all of this stuff has already been promised. I don't know why I'm in this place where I'm trying to search for more. Like, literally, it's been laid out. So for me, I think that's what I was able to get out of it was, no, because I was getting into those works. Let me work. Let me do more of these pages. Let me make more beautiful pages for my journal. But it was like, what did you write already? Did you even look at that? Have you meditated on those things? So that was
Oh, right.
that was a grounding place for me too. And I think I was really coming from a place of like, who cares? Remember, I think in the last episode, I was like, let me go to my real job because I'm tired of this job. Like, I was tired of the classroom or whatever. And let me get to this sweet tea and sunshine. But that wasn't the right way to see it. I think that it really should be, you know, have peace wherever you are, not run from one place and have peace somewhere else. Like, I think that's what was revealed most to me through that. And I do love the fact that we both, I mean, a lot of time, not saying we ain't been in sync majority of the time, but most of the time it's like one of us is in, one of us is out, and we were able to kind of like bring ourselves back. But at this time, it was like both of us were out. And not saying out like we ain't doing it no more or anything like that, but just tapped out, mentally gone, like whatever you want to call it. And I feel so encouraged that we're able to kind of still get our footing and still work through and still continue, because it's a blessing to me, and I get power and strength from you and having you in my life and even doing the podcast. Like it is definitely an awakening of all this flow that we lost. And it's like, dang, how do we get so far away from what we love to be doing? Like talking y'all's ear off.
Yeah. And talk about, and we kind of talked about work, but like we were even feeling out of flow with our friends. And like you were sitting over there like, I don't have no friends. And I was sitting over here like, well, all my friends that I thought I had friends. All I got is that doctor and my kid.
Right.
And no other friends.
Isn't that the craziest mind trick? Like I don't. And I've always had people in my life. Like, I don't know where I've never in my life felt like alone. And that's what I felt. And even though daily I had people beside me fighting a good fight with me, I still felt like, nobody. And I'm like, that's the devil's trick on me. And he's never tried that on me. Like, look at nobody. You ain't got nobody outside of this house that even cares about you. And I was like, oh, it's true. Knowing good and well, like, hello, like this is why part of the reason why we even created this podcast was because of our friendship. And even when we talked about it, we were both like, shame on both of us for even like...
Right, like, what are we doing? And then I'll never forget, like, I really realized, thank God for you.
Okay,
I was saying, thank God for your pneumonia, because, and thank God for your husband, because he literally sounded the alarm. I thought he was Beyonce. He sounded the alarm and straight jacked me and that doctor up and was like, hey, Sharifa's sick. Come fast. And we were like, we'll be there right after work.
I know. It was the sweetest. Like, so up until that moment, and not like pneumonia, on the range of things, I'm realizing it's more serious than what I thought it was. But like, who are the people who you would even want to show up? I didn't have a list. So like, for him to just reach out to people, like, I'm in bed and Felicia comes walking in and I'm like, oh, you came. Like, I didn't know I didn't expect, I didn't have a list of the people that I would have wanted to come. And so to have that spouse be like, listen, these are the people who I think should be here. I was like, oh, and it wasn't even like, where are they? I need these people to come and bring my casserole or whatever. It was just a very, like, it was right on time that you and Seth came in that, or you and Dead Doctor came in that, Alicia and Brittany came, and like, just people were just in and out. And I was like, oh, that's what that's like. I never luckily had never been in the situation where I've needed people and then they weren't able to come. So that was very like, oh, we do have people. And it was after that conversation, wasn't it? Yeah. I think, hold on.
As how on your sick bed and me laying up in your brand new bed with you is when I realized how disconnected from my support group I had been.
Oh.
I was like, y'all are the ones who make me more of me.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Being with y'all, you helped me, stay Kisha.
Mm-hmm. And that was the funniest thing because we had just gotten that bed that same day, and so Val was like, world famous was like, "What's all this sitting on the bed?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's what we like." he was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Honestly, like that was like the most powerful. Like, come on, this is what it is. Go ahead and look in my closet. Like it was just the bare bones of like how friendships really should be. Like it's just everything out there and chilling on a bed laughing. Like that's to me the most important and most powerful thing about being friends. It's like it ain't none of this other meet me for coffee or anything like that. It really is the bare bones of friends.
It's come sit with me in my closet.
Yeah.
On the floor.
Yes, come dog this couch out with me. Like it's just so those
dirty
moments.
Panties in the floor and right next to the laundry basket because it didn't make it in the laundry basket.
Right.
But yeah.
Right.
I'll get that. Don't you worry.
Right. That's the real deal. And I'm so grateful for first of all, for him being able to recognize those people in my life and not me being like, you need to call this person, because he knew he was plugged in enough to know, okay, where are her people? And he was plugged in enough to know that I wasn't about to be like, no, we ain't having company, or whatever. Yeah, so
it was so sweet.
It was very sweet, and I just appreciate everyone. Yeah. And I know that if, some people are like, nobody called me, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'll add you to the list next time. You can bring dinner or something.
And then I felt like, and I know wasn't about me, but like I felt so loved. I was like, the fact that he knew. Oh my gosh, I got so choked up just saying it, and I didn't even mean to. And now you're frozen. Okay. The fact that he knew that we loved you so much that we would come made me feel loved too. I was like, he knows. Like, he knows that we're up in here. Like, here we come, honey. Right. I know we've been out of flow, but here we go.
Yep.
It said a lot to me too about what he recognizes about our friendship, like as a whole, like him and that doctor and us,
And then both of you guys came, and I was like, I mean, I know they were downstairs having drinks, but I was just like, oh gosh, yes, this is really like, this is family. And I know my family had been here, so it wasn't that. And my sisters and my mom and dad could have been there in and out, and it would have been enough. Like, I didn't need to have, but I definitely, it brought the people in my life who he reached out to, and it just brought us to another level for me. I'm like, those are like, that's the level of family. That's not even friends no more. So that was sweet. Yeah, but y'all Google pneumonia. It's a mess. And I mean, I'm on my 4th week, and I think I'm finally starting to feel better, myself.
I was like, are you done with the fever yet? Have we made it 24 hours yet? I was in the text everyone, have we made it yet? Because I knew what the benchmarks were or what the milestones were.
Right.
You're like, not yet.
I had no. I'm going to need to remind me. We'll put on a list for another content about febrile hallucinations, because that was some mess. I could talk all day about all the hallucinations that I had while I had that fever.
How do you spell that?
Febrile.
Viral, like viral?
Febrile. Like having to do with fevers, febrile hallucinations.
Yeah. I'm scared. Okay. Got it.
Anyway, so yeah, that's a whole nother topic. That was insane. I would never want to go through that again. Period. Oh my gosh. Yet it was quite entertaining.
Yes.
So okay.
The one time that I hallucinated, my husband was very entertained, and we'll save all that for the hallucination talk.
Yes. So I guess this whole episode was just kind of like a come to our audience and just be real about kind of how life happens, because some people feel like, oh, somebody texts me like, I know y'all are on top of this, but here's this thing about podcast, and I'm like, why would you think we're on top of it? We're just over here figuring stuff out still 2 years later. Like it's not that, but I did want to be very, and I hate when people say be very transparent, because I just feel like, just be real about.
That has now become my pet peeve word. I hate it.
Let me be transparent with you. No, it's not about that. It's just, let's be real about like what real people go through and how we kind of maneuver through it in this journey we're on. And I really think that this podcast is worth it. And there wasn't a moment where I was like, oh, screw the podcast, we can never get it done. It was just kind of like, I hope we'll get to record at some point. Like it just, and we're about to go on vacations and all this stuff. So I wanted to get a couple of them in, but yeah, we'll work through it. Like, things happen and, schedules don't always align, but we make it work however we're supposed to make it work,
Someone famous once said, the difference between those who succeed and those who don't succeed is that the people who succeed just went longer, just stuck with it longer than the ones who did it. So basically, the people who are succeeding are the ones that don't quit. So, just remember that even in just your day-to-day challenges, sometimes success doesn't look the way that we think it should look, but the fact that we aren't giving up, that's what makes you successful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even if you're like a little bit further than you were the day before, like, okay. And that's what I did have to do, was like, when I looked at our catalog of episodes, I was like, dang, we've done a whole bunch of stuff. Like, and then when I was looking at our, like, because I'm a data person, so I'm looking at our stats and stuff, and I'm like, dang, people are still listening even though we ain't putting nothing new out. So I was like, wow, that was motivation for me to still keep going, because I'm like, our stuff is still being downloaded out here. Like, we need to go ahead and keep, feeding that, because clearly there's a supply and a demand. So we just need to kind of keep pushing at that. Yeah. So we're at about an hour. Was there any?
I tried to give us a conclusion with that success quote.
Yes. And I really feel like we can use that as a great conclusion. I know that you're heading out of the States, and so am I. And, when we come back, we'll hit another one for the summer and figure all that out.
And another one.
And I just hope that everyone's having a great summer, and I really want for everybody to just be focusing on summer. And I know it's hard when it's like you're excited about the next year that's coming up and what you're going to be doing, what you're going to be teaching. But like, literally, I want everyone to just take the time, pause for the cause, because it is a celebratory time To be able to celebrate the fact that we don't have to do nothing if you don't want to. If you don't want to. If you want to, that's great. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. There's no guilt.
That's right.
Yeah. So I think that's it. Keisha, you have something else to say? Yeah, I know you're going to be at Teach Your Heart Out.
Yes. That will be not this Friday. Well, not this Thursday, but next Thursday. We will be riding out to the Bahamas.
Great. And then I'll be heading to Okinawa this week. So, I mean, I'll post a couple of fun stuff on.
Konnichiwa.
Yes. Konnichiwa. That's about the extent of my knowledge. But we will be posting pictures on our Instagram if y'all want to follow our adventures this summer, our international stuff. And then, of course, don't forget to share your favorite episodes. We'll share with you our episode on Flow again because I think that's worth revisiting.
Thank you so much for joining us. If you want to contact us, follow us on Insta and Facebook at Sweet Tea and Sunshine Podcast. If you like what you hear, support us on Patreon. Thanks.